Okay, this is a review for the test over 12 and 14. We're going to start with 12 and responsibilities that only that the Senate has, and that would be they will try impeachment. They also will have to approve all the appointments by the president, like the Supreme Court justice and so on, and treaties. Now the House can impeach the president, and they can break ties, and if there's a tie in the presidential race. There is 100 members in the Senate, 435 in the House, and the House is based on population. So every 10 years after the census, Congress will, the House will be realigned. Congress is called a reactive, slow, and cumbersome body. And let's go down to filibuster, gerrymandering. The state legislature has the responsibility of redrawing the lines every 10 years, and sometimes they try to gerrymander it, which means they're going to draw the borders to keep their party in power. But the Supreme Court said this is unconstitutional because it goes against the one man, one vote principle. And as we go down a little bit, okay, we talk about in Congress, we talk about the military industrial complex, also called the Iron Triangle. Its relationship between a defense program and a supplier of that program, like the defense wants a tank and the TI wants to buy the tank, and also a committee in Congress. In both houses, the incumbent has about a 9% chance of being reelected. That's truer. That's more in the House than the Senate. They have a lot of advantages. One of them is franking, which would be the federal government pays for all their mailing, so they can mail every person in their state something as many times as they want to, as long as they do not ask them to vote for them. And this is a big financial advantage. And also, they do a lot of casework, which means they actually help you if you need to get a place in a service university, or if you need some help in working with some other company, they can help you do that. Also, they do pork barrel. It's also called earmarks and riders. They will get things for their state. They will put an amendment to a bill that only helps their state, and that way they get jobs, and of course that makes them popular in their home state. Okay, we're going pretty fast, so hopefully you're reading some of this. Now, the House Rules Committee is the one who decides how a bill is going to be debated. They can give it a closed ruling, which means it cannot be amended, or they can give it an open ruling, which it can. Now, the Senate does not have a Rules Committee, but they do have a filibuster. The reason they can have a filibuster is because the House has a time limit, but the Senate does not. A filibuster is when you try to delay or prevent an action on a bill. And of course, like I said, the reason a closure vote can stop a filibuster, but it's very difficult to do because you have to have more than a majority, and that means that some of your own party are voting against you. The only member of Congress that is in the Constitution is the Speaker of the House. And he is one of the most powerful persons in Congress, him and the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. And there are majority whips and majority leaders, and minority whips and minority leaders in both houses. Committees are where all the work is being done. An example of that would all the bills must go to a committee. and they do most of the work. Now, there's several types of committees. Standing committees or select committees or committees that are permanent. They're always there. Example of a select committee would be the Watergate Committee. The most powerful committee is the House Ways and Means Committee because they control all of the money bills must go through them. And most of them, the chairman is usually from a safe district, meaning this district has elected that party for decades. So he has no danger of being defeated. It controls all the money. If a bill has money in it, then it will have to go through this committee. The committee system is there to screen all the bills. That is actually their major duty, is to screen all the bills and try to find the good ones to pass on down the road. Now, here's another committee, the Conference Committee. Anytime that the House and the Senate cannot get along together, then they can send a bill to the Conference Committee where they try to work out a compromise. A bill cannot be amended coming out of the Conference Committee, and there's a same number of House members or they are in the Senate. Now finally, if both houses pass a bill, then it goes to the president after both houses pass it. Now, one of the big things that the member of the Checks and Balances in Madison is that legislative oversight. They have the job of monitoring the bureaucracy. You know, that's where all the president men are. And so like the Watergate would be an example, and Contra affairs and so on, so that they can't watch them. Now most of the committees are, the chairman of committees are selected on the seniority system. It's not a law, it's a tradition. That means the member on that committee that's a member of the majority party and has served on that committee the longest, then he is the one who is the chairman of that committee. And that's called the seniority system that we have. All right, we're working through this. Da, 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 da. A little background. Oh, whoa. Okay. All right, now, here are the most missed. The most missed. We have some of those ever tests, and they're still the most missed. So here are the most missed that you should learn from the last test. United States, majority of people in the United States do not vote in most elections. All right? A crucial election, and a crucial election is when there is a party realignment. There's a swing from one party to another party. Ever since 72, the voters have focused on individual candidates more than the issues. Diversity in public opinion is primary results of federalism, which that means a lot of states believe that the federal government should come in and make gun control mandatory. But a lot of people believe the states have control of that and the federal government should have nothing to do with it. Okay, the best description of the organization of two parties, they're largely independent, which they all work together, but there's a national party that does not necessarily work day in, day out with the state party. So they're kind of different. Your governor race is different than the presidential race. All right. The winner take all in the electoral college is when, if you win the popular vote in most states, other than Maine and Nebraska, you will win all the popular votes. I don't know why y'all keep missing that one. These days, the largest press coverage is the day-to-day race and activities. They don't cover the issues like they used to. They just want to know what is the president doing today, who's ahead, who's behind, and so on. All right, this should be PACS. That should be a C there. All right. the labor unions have increased their uses of PACs. Whoa, that's another one. Since 1970. And even though the numbers of labor unions are going down, labor unions have been using the PACs more. Still get a lot of influence. All right, Madison, remember, Madison is the one who came up with federalism. And in his papers, Federalist Paper 10, remember, he did not like factions, which we would call interest groups today. And he believed a representative government would help limit factions. And it was a good idea, but did not work out well. All right, let's go to, let's go to 14. And 14 is kind of short, but there's a lot of IDs in it. Okay, here we go. Notes over 14. A budget deficit is when we spend too much money. The federal debt is the money that we owe, that we borrow from people. Now, we borrow. How we do that? We sell bonds. We sell them to. Sad to say, we sell them to China more than anybody else. The income tax is where we get most of our money. To run the government is from the income tax. Now, Social Security in around the 1965, it added Medicare. Social Security Act was intended to give everybody a minimum level of money. Medicare was added to help coverage medical bills. Now, the Office of Management and Budget helps the President present the budget to Congress. And let's see. Okay, we said the Ways and Means. All right. Now, the Ways and Means Committee is the committee that deals with the money in the House. The Financial Committee is the one that deals with the money in the Senate. Okay, that's what that says there. And appropriation bill. There must be an appropriation bill on every bill that includes money, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything. A budget resolution attempts to bind the total amount of expenditure to the bottom line, which means that's the money we bring in, and we do not do a good job of that. All right, and uncontrolled expenditures, that means that's the money that we have promised people automatically, and supposedly we can't really mess with that. Now, Social Security is the biggest uncontrollable expenditure. Now, those are called entitlements. People are entitled to Medicare, food stamps, Social Security. So that's what it's called, entitlements. And that's where all the money is that we're going to have to get to if we're ever going to balance the budget. Now, the Graham bill, he was a senator from Texas actually, in 1993. He passed a bill that said there'd be mandatory limits on how much we can spend every year. We can spend so much money over the amount of money we bring in. But the sad thing about that is that every year they allow us to raise it. Okay, that is a really quick 15-minute look at the test. Go over all your notes and we review it. All right, good luck.